Hello, welcome guys. And now we are going to start a new series on the bishop pair. And I would like to mention four important principles when having the bishop pair. The side with the bishop pair uh, against a pair of knights or against a bishop and knight, of course, should open the position. So the side with that bishop pair with the two bishops uh, should try to open the position because bishops dominate in the open position. Having the bishop pair, it is good idea to gain space without creating holes for the opponent's knight. And thirdly, put pawns on squares of the same color as the opponent's bishop in order to restrict it. As a result of this, our counterpart free bishop will dominate. The fourth point is the pair of bishops often allows you to easily exchange one of the bishops for the opponent's bishop or knight, with the idea of simplifying or transferring into a desired endgame. And now the side playing against the bishop pair should try to oppose the above. I would add that the side playing with the bishop pair against a bishop and knight should insist on making the counterpart free bishop a dangerous weapon. And now let us go to the first game. Here the black side has the bishop pair. So let's see, the game was played between English and Steinitz in London 1883. Steinitz is the black player. And let's go through the game. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, g6. This move is played even nowadays, but for the 19th century, it must be criticized. Black neglects the center. Actually, Steinitz always preferred moves he liked rather than those suggested by theoreticians. As a result, we enjoy his gigantic legacy even today. d4, ed4, knight d4, and bishop g7, bishop e3, knight f6, knight c3, castle shot, castle shot. White is more active and has more space. Of course, visually, white should be better. Still, black has not made a particularly bad move yet. So the position is fairly balanced and it is just the start of the game. Steinitz's next move looks anti-positional, but actually it is directed at controlling the center. He prepares d5, knight e7, and now queen d2. Uh, White finishes his development. He cannot prevent black's next move, that is d5. Now e d5, knight e takes d5, and knight takes d5, and queen takes d5. With this move, black aims for more than equality. The knight on d4 protects the bishop and can be the target of an attack. Black intends to play knight g4. Uh, if at all knight takes d5, of course this is also good. Then after bishop h6, bishop takes h6, then queen takes h6. Now c6 leads to quite a balanced position. But here black takes with the queen, and after bishop e2, here instead of bishop e2 h3, and after knight e4, queen d3 was a better option, but white goes bishop e2, now knight g4. This is a simple decision. Black gets the advantage of bishop pair, which will be extremely dangerous given that the position is completely open. Bishop takes g4, bishop takes g4, knight b3, queen takes d2, knight takes d2, rook a d8. Here instead of knight takes b2, bishop takes b2 and rook I'm sorry, after knight takes b2 and 15th move, rook a d8. Instead of rook a d8, bishop takes b2, rook a b1 will be good counterplay for white. So rook a d8, c3, rook f e8, knight b3, a typical position where the bishop pair dominates. From here, Steinitz demonstrates all the possibilities and advantages of having pair of bishops. The position is open and there is hence no need to open it further. Instead, black focuses on gaining space and restricting the opponent's minor pieces. Gaining space should be done patiently, avoiding the creation of holes for the opponent's knight. Restricting pieces would be achieved after placing most of the pawn on dark squares. It does not matter that black dark squared bishop would be passive for a while. The point is that the light squared bishop would be very powerful. Finally, Steinitz demonstrates the ability to exchange the right pieces. Such a method is very common in the face of realizing a positional advantage. Now b6, taking away the a5 and c5 squares from the white's minor pieces, and h3, bishop e6, rook f d1, c5, and very simple. Even the d4 square is taken away. Step by step, black's bishop on e6 becomes more and more powerful. The g7 bishop awaits his time to shine. Bishop g5, f6, bishop f4, king f7, f3, g5. Black consistently gains space by putting his pawns on dark squares. Rook takes d8, bishop e3 and h6. H6. This move is for preparing his next move. Now after rook e1, f5. Some pawns can be on light squares. Black intends f4 to get more space, and white puts f4 to prevent it. And here black goes bishop f6. Here instead g4 should have been preferred here. It forces white to decide what to do with the h pawn. Another benefit is that the black's dark squared bishop is not obliged to protect the g5 pawn. And after hg4, f takes g4, and black is ready to launch his h pawn, and with a dangerous initiative on the king's side. Instead, if white goes h4, then bishop f6, then g3, then there is a5. So but black goes bishop f6 here, and g3, a5, knight c1, and knight c1 is a must here, and after a4, a3, bishop c4, king f2. Black has achieved a lot. The white pieces are cramped. Black's pieces dominate, especially the c4 bishop. White has many holes on the queen side, and the potential same colored bishop endgame must be in black's favor. If his king reaches c4, however, it is difficult to transfer the king to the queen side. It is also difficult to advance the b pawn, as the pawn on c5 needs protection. Steinitz delivers a high-level performance in the rest of the game, leaving us with a perfect example on playing with a bishop pair advantage. Now it is time for the last principle to take effect, the ability to exchange one of the bishop. Now G takes F4, and I am sure that fewer than half of the current masters would opt for this amazing solution. After bishop takes F4, if at all white plays G takes F4, then there is bishop H4. So after G takes F4, bishop takes F4, then bishop G5, eliminating the piece that controls the D2 square. And after bishop takes G5, H takes G5, king E3, re-establishing control over D2, and now king F6. Black has various possibilities. To penetrate via the D or E file, advance the F pawn or attack the H pawn. White's position is hopeless. H4, GH4. And here the correct move order, if rook E8 is wrong here. After king F2, rook takes E1 and H takes G5, king takes G5, king takes E1, and after king G4 there is king F2, and the position is equal now. So it was wrong to put exchange the rook, put the check here, and here even F4 check is good instead of putting rook E8 check. After king F3, there is a GH4, and after king F4, there is H3, rook H1, and after rook H1, king G6. Because next is rook D2 comes here, king G6, the strongest here, because after if at all rook takes H3, then rook here comes, and even rook can come to D2 here. So if at all the pawn is taken, then rook takes B2 is coming, rook check, and king E7, king, then this, the white pawns will be lost here. So but black didn't go this way, he went for GH4 here, and after GH4, there is rook E8 check now after exchanging the pawns, and after king F2, rook takes E1, king takes E1, there is king E5, and after knight E2, bishop takes E2, king takes E2, king F4, C4, king G4, king E3, and F4 check, king E4, F3, king E3, king G3, and now white resigns. And this is a brilliant game by Steinitz, and this perfectly illustrates all plans for the side having the bishop pair. The plans are initially opening the position, then restricting the opponent's minor pieces by putting the pawns on the bishop's color and gaining space, and exchanging one of the bishops at the right time in order to convert. Actually, that was the first published game explaining the luxury of having the bishop pair in open position. So I hope you would have learnt how to take advantage of the bishop pair. I'll be meeting you in the next game with the same principle. Thank you all.